All right, all right, all right. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. I'm a few minutes late because I was trying to get them children together, but your girl is here to show up. Why? Because she is committed to the 30 days of literacy reset. Now, if you saw the thumbnail, then you know who today is about. This is definitely one of my favorite people in history for a few reasons. And come on, let's just get into it because your sister was already a little behind. So, Frederick Douglass was forbidden to read, not discouraged, forbidden. Let that sit in and marinate for a second. I want to make sure I get here so we know. Won't jump in too far. So, he wasn't discouraged, but he definitely was forbidden because the people who enslaved him understood something powerful. If he learned to read, he would become harder to control. Welcome back to the Literacy Reset 30 Days of Raising Architects. Today, we reset our understanding of literacy because literacy is not just academic progress, it is liberation. All right. So let's definitely dive a little deep here. Frederick Douglass was born into slavery in 1818, but when he was a young boy, the wife of his enslaver began teaching him the alphabet. But her husband intervened. He told her that teaching an enslaved person to read would make them unfit to be a slave. That statement changed everything. Douglass later wrote that in moment, he understood the pathway from slavery to freedom, literacy. If reading was dangerous, it must be powerful. So he taught himself. He traded bread with poor white boys in exchange for reading lessons. He studied newspapers, speeches, political writings. He practiced writing by copying letters in shipyards and challenging other boys to writing competitions. Literacy sharpened his mind. It clarified injustice. It fueled his escape. And eventually, it amplified his voice as one of the most powerful abolitionist speakers and writers in American history. Now, he was not handed literacy, he pursued it as survival. Let's get into what today's principle is. Literacy is intellectual freedom. Control information and you control the people. Access the information and you empower the people. Frederick Douglass did not pursue literacy for grades, he pursued it for freedom. Literacy allowed him to understand laws, analyze arguments, articulate injustice, and persuade audiences. Without literacy, oppression thrives. With literacy, systems can be challenged. This is why analytical writing matters. This is why critical thinking matters. When your child learns to evaluate a claim, to detect bias, to compare sources, to construct a counter argument, they are practicing intellectual freedom. Architects of thought are not easily manipulated. Frederick Douglass reminds me of my original fight within education, proven without a shadow of a doubt that it not only breaks barriers, it not only informs the next generation, but it empowers them. It fights oppression silently. I think that this was one of the most profound people that I could add to this list, not just for sharing with everybody else, but as even a reminder to myself of why I was even called into this space in the first place. I didn't get into education for education. I got into education because I felt like it needed to be accessible for the groups who were marginalized and held back through oppression. And with literacy, you can create what freedom looks like for yourself, right? Because perception can go a long way, and it could be a short way as well, right? And so how we see ourselves is how we show up for ourselves. And if we're feeling incompetent instead of confident, then how can we sit there and battle anything, whether it be health, wealth, relationships, work relationships, all of the things. Let's get into how we can apply this in real time. One, teach critical reading explicitly. When your child reads nonfiction, ask, who wrote this? What is their perspective? What evidence supports this claim? Is there another side? Teach them to interrogate text. Now that we live in a world of AI and TikTok, and everybody's got a platform and an opinion, it is crucial that our babies learn how to read explicitly, research explicitly, and make the connections truly. Which goes straight into my next point. Introduce primary sources. Expose them to historical speeches, letters, original documents. Have them analyze language and intent. Literacy deepens when students encounter authentic voices. I think that not only seeing, reading, and learning from others' authentic voices will only empower and encourage them to be their authentic self. Third, practice persuasive writing. Have your child choose an issue, research multiple viewpoints, develop a thesis, support it with evidence. Persuasive writing builds clarity and confidence. Lastly, discuss intellectual responsibility. And this one is huge. Explain that literacy is not just power, it is a responsibility. We use it to seek truth, communicate respectfully, engage thoughtfully. Freedom without discipline becomes noise. Freedom with discipline becomes leadership. I'm going to say that again. Freedom without discipline becomes noise, and freedom with discipline becomes leadership. You are not just preparing your child for tests, you are preparing them for autonomy. Frederick Douglass understood that literacy meant he could not unknow what he learned. Reading exposed injustice. Writing exposed truth. Literacy removes ignorance as an excuse. It sharpens conscience. Your child's ability to read deeply and think critically is not optional. It is foundational. because one day they will encounter conflicting narratives, cultural pressure, persuasive rhetoric, and they will need the tools to stand steady. If today shifted how seriously you view literacy instruction, lean into that. Inside the RFRS Homeschool Clarity Map, we walk through teaching analytical reading step by step, structuring persuasive writing units, building building critical thinking intentionally, and mapping literacy goals with clarity. So your child doesn't just consume information, they evaluate it, they discuss it. Right now, we live in a world where information is at our fingertips, but people are not taking any measures to do a little deeper work. And that's not everybody, that's just some people. Let me make sure I'm clear about that. It's not everybody, it's some people. And it becomes dangerous when we just take hype or whatever's trending, because before 20 years ago we didn't have what's trending, right? This generation, they have what's trending. And so just because something is trending doesn't mean that it's truthful. And then when you really get into the systematics of certain things, we don't know when things are being published, if it's for our good or for the content of somebody else. As the great professor Dr. Smalls, within the Pan-African movement and a well-established historian, would call, all content has intent. All content has intent. And so with all of these platforms and our babies having access to these platforms, we, the adults in their lives, must be conscious of what's floating around in their space, and that they're not adapting things into their world. And this is not a new conversation. This is a thorough conversation, because why? We have children who are online being bullied, harassed, stalked, and all of the things, and taking those things seriously and doing harm to themselves because of something that's being said online. And so when our children are rooted in foundation, rooted in literacy, rooted in researching, they're not looking for validation from outside sources because they're validating themselves. They're doing the work. They're doing the work. And so let me make sure I share with you guys again to join our school community, the RFRS Homeschool Studio, which is a literacy-centered strategy lab where intentional parents become education architects. We are evaluating what's your child's learning style. What is it that fits your home rhythm, your morals? What is it that you want your child to know? What is it that you want your child to understand and expand upon? How are we utilizing their gifts to help them shape who their futures can be? It's about them. But it starts with the work that we do and we lay out. And so if I'm your vibe, join the community. Hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. As you know, I'm doing 30 days of this reset, and today is only day 9. But every person has been bringing us something very special that we can call forward and unique into our homeschooling space and into our educational spaces overall. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. And so very soon, I'll be inviting a few parents to join me to be ready to design and not guess, right? To join my homeschool clarity roadmap. You can get in in the cohort. You can get in as, matter of fact, do I have the page up? Maybe I can even show you guys the page so you can see. I'm gonna show this instead. Right? We're going beyond curriculum. We're going beyond curriculum. I'm trying to prevent burnout, right? And so we'll use a framework to build out your child's successful school year. You can even if you're not homeschooling, you can still join this community because you can think of things that your child can be doing during the breaks, during summer if they go away, during the weekends to help fill in the gaps if there's anything that they need help and support in. If they are already thriving, and let me say this, because some people be like, oh, my child knows this, that already. That's great. But is that the limit? Is that the limit? Oh, they read well and they can comprehend really well. Okay, is that the limit? Or is that the expectation? To each his own. I don't impose my personal beliefs on people like that. I will just say this. If we have a low bar of expectations, they will meet it all the time. If we have a bar that's out there way into the sky with the rockets and Mars, that's a whole nother conversation as well. You don't need to put that much pressure on them. But I will say there's always the conversation of how can we do this better? How can we improve a little bit more? How can we show up and be our best selves? Right? And so, what if you can design your homeschool year once and have it work all year long? This is it. We design a 12-month literacy centered roadmap tailored to your child, identify your child's learning style so every lesson clicks, build build reusable systems that make planning easier every quarter, use AI strategically to create lesson plans, assessments, and reports in minutes, create structure that breathes, intentional but flexible. This isn't just another course to consume, it's a workshop where we build. We are hands-on building through each session. And in the community, we're answering questions and going through the things. And so this is how it works. And then you pick your tier. If you're like, look, guess what, miss? I don't have time for that. I want to help go through the process or whatever, but I would prefer somebody else to build it. And you want me to build it? This is the price for right here. If you want to work with me one-to-one, let me make this clear. If you do the done for you or the VIP, you're still getting access to the cohort. You get that. You're still getting access to the cohort. The difference is the one-to-one conversations. That's the difference. That's the difference. And the time blocks, because I'm meeting with you personally to craft out your child's information. I'm giving you all of the tools and everything that I possibly can to make it easier for you. And with the done for you, I'm handing it to you. You're giving me the insight. I'm building it out. I'm asking you a couple of questions. We're going through the things, but it's done for you. And if you do the VIP, then yes, I'm meeting with you to intensely discuss your child, your family, and we build out. And then if you are in the cohort, We have the 4 live weekly coaching calls. We build the roadmap step by step together with the group. You get the template to customize and frame it for yourself. You get the learning style assessment, understanding how your child learns best. You get the confident reader and writer course. You get my AI prompts. You get the community support, private group with other education architects, which is our other parents, and lifetime materials. Keep the resources forever. Right? And so those are the 3 ways to be a part of the intensive. The school group is just where we meet and we discuss these things, right? And so if you were to sign up for one of these, then you're into the homeschool studio for 2 months for free. And if you want to continue from that point, you get locked in at the founding member rate, right? And so you see that's why I haven't published it, because I actually had pushed the dates back and just been trying to figure out what day I want to start with this cohort. And I'll know that as I finalize some things, because I do have the responsibility of being a caregiver as well. So if anyone has ever had that responsibility, you know it also comes with a lot. And so I just want to make sure I am clear and free when it is time for us to roll out. That's my promise to those who I'm working with, right? Because life is life. And that's just the truth. Just the truth. All right. And so in today's episode, we reset power. It has been wonderful chatting with you guys. Hope all is well in your side of the world. And this is the Literacy Reset. I'll see you in episode 10. Take care. Bye-bye.